Welcome back, everyone, to a Mindset Medicine podcast. I'm Katharine Loucaidou. I am your podcast host, and I am so glad that you are with me again this week. It's been a minute, hasn't it? I took a little time off, and I will get into that in a moment, but I just wanted to remind you that the Mindset Medicine podcast I'm here to feed, insights, strategies to foster growth, to help you evolve into that next level of you. I also think it's really important to develop a resilience and a fearless growth mindset as we move forward. Life keeps happening, whether or not we're prepared for it. So I want to help you prepare for the unexpected and when it happens. So we're going to talk about resilience today, and we're going to talk about what it means to be a fearless entrepreneur. And I'm going to share a few different things that have been happening to me over the last few weeks. And that resilient muscle of mine had to kick back into high gear in order for me to get through everything unexpected that happened. Let me give you a little recap of what has been going on with me. So a few weeks ago, probably about over a month ago, I went to the doctor and they said, oh, you've got a spot on your face. We're going to send you to the dermatologist and let's have that checked out and see what it is. Okay, no problem. So I go to the dermatologist. She said, yep, that's definitely basal cell cancer and it needs to be removed. And don't worry, they're just going to scrape off a couple of layers of skin and you'll be good to go. Okay. I wasn't worried. I wasn't very stressed. The test came back and it wasn't melanoma, which of course was a concern of mine. And so there I went on my merry way, waited for the hospital appointment. I got that. And 3 weeks ago, I went into the hospital to remove the small spot on my face. If you are watching this on YouTube, yes, I still have a Band-Aid here on my face, but I'm smart because I managed to find transparent Band-Aids, so it's not too bad. But so here's what happened. So I went in and they scraped away first couple of layers of skin. And she said, okay, go to the waiting room and the lab is going to, so the way this works, I believe it's called Mohs. It's called Mohs skin cancer surgery. And what they do is they scrape layer by layer and that gets sent to the lab while you wait. Lab comes back, says, yes, you're good. You've got everything, close up the patient, off they go. Well, unfortunately for me, it took 6 small surgeries, a much larger area on my face because skin cancer spreads as any cancer does. So when they started removing some layers, they realized it had spread and it ended up being a much larger surgery on my face than I anticipated. So I ended up getting 100 stitches and a skin graft, which is all the way down the side of my face, longer recovery, and you just don't really feel that great when you've been released. I was thinking I was going to be released with a Band-Aid. I was released with half of my face covered in gauze. So the unexpected, right? I mean, this is what happens. We sometimes have to expect the unexpected. Now, I'll tell you something that may have been a saving grace to me over the years, and that is how my muscle of resilience has grown. It has gotten stronger because as I sat in that chair with the surgeon, she said, you're taking this really well. Because by the 6th time I was being called in for her to open up again and remove more of the cancer in my face, I said, I've had open heart surgery. I've had a minor stroke. I've been through a lot. And really, nothing compares to the recovery of open heart surgery. Nothing compares to that. So I said, you do what you need to do, and I will figure it out. I'll be fine. So I came home, realized that it was much larger than I expected. And I gave myself that one evening. And I said, okay, you can be upset tonight. You can be upset because you didn't expect this, and it's okay. You can break down, you can complain, you can say, why again? Believe it or not, I had actually convinced myself that after my heart surgery, I'd never have any other kind of surgeries. I was never going to have stitches again. I had convinced myself of that. And I have been healthy and great and so on. So, yeah, I was upset that first night I came home, but I woke up the next morning and I said, you know what, Katharine? It is what it is. It's happened. They have fixed it. They have removed it. Move on. Move forward. And that's what I started doing. The recovery has been basically over the last 3 weeks. I am going to have this larger than life Band-Aid on my face for a little while, but that's fine because it's healing and we just move forward. So back to today's topic, which is what I've been talking about, which is resilience. As I define it, it is the ability to bounce back from adversity. And what I find is the more adversity and challenges and obstacles and barriers that you come against, the faster that resilience muscle will kick in. After my heart surgery 16 years ago, it took me over a year to get my mind in the place that said, okay, it's time to move forward. This time, it took me about 12 hours. You build that muscle and you teach yourself how to build that muscle by understanding that we can't go back. We can't undo what's happened. So therefore, we can only move forward with that same resilience that we learned all that time ago. We also have to be flexible in our thoughts, right? So I had something that happened unexpectedly. So therefore, I just have to pause and say to myself, okay, unexpected things happen. We're just going to deal with it now. How am I feeling? Am I upset? Okay, why are we upset? And go through the motions. It's okay to talk to yourself. It's also okay to talk to people, to find that wonderful group of supportive people around you to support you when you're not feeling 100%. To support you because sometimes what you need is an infusion of logic. And I know that if you're in an emotional state, logic isn't really what you want to hear, but an empathetic ear is good unless they are, what's the word? Not empowering, promoting. If they are promoting you being a victim of a circumstance that has happened to you, you are being surrounded by the wrong people. Trust me when I tell you this. What you need are people who are going to build you back up again. Remind you of your strength, remind you of your bravery, remind you that there is so much more life to live. So don't worry about this one hurdle, this one obstacle. Life is made of these obstacles. We are meant to surpass them. And if you are going through life without obstacles, it may mean you're not living life. Because it's not really supposed to be that easy. Easy doesn't equate to happy. So that's something to remember. Just because something is easy doesn't necessarily mean it's making you happy. I would not give up or go back or regret any of the obstacles I have been through because they have built me into the fearless entrepreneur I am today. They have built the fearless growth that I have in me to move forward, they have also helped me to inspire other people through their journeys, helping them to become more resilient. Because I have been through so many different types of setbacks, starting from when I moved to Europe by myself at 22 and having to navigate a foreign country, not knowing the language, with no money, never having taught before, but that's what I was there for. From that to then raising children in a foreign country, which is a whole other ball game, and being a woman in a patriarchal society back when I was there, that really was what this Mediterranean island was. So that was something to learn and adapt to. And then the medical issues and then I opened businesses there. So I've always been an entrepreneur. Even as a teacher, in the evenings after teaching, I would still open my own English language institute, and I taught English as a second language as a 23-year-old. Never crossed my mind that I didn't have the experience. I didn't know the language. Why? Because I had a need, and I wanted to surpass the idea that I didn't know the language, but I know how to teach people. So why can't I just do it? It never crossed my mind that I couldn't. And I would love for you to challenge yourself and say to yourself, why is this thing that I'm thinking about right now? If you feel stuck, any of you listening right now, do you feel stuck? Do you feel like there is an obstacle in front of you? Do you feel like you need to grow your resilience against whatever is happening in your life right now, whether it's people, whether it's a situation, maybe it's your job or your business, and it's just not going in the direction that you wanted it to go, or hoping it would go, or expected that it was going to go. If you are feeling right now that you are in a space of feeling stuck and you don't know how to move beyond it, my suggestion to you is start making decisions. It's a strange thing for me to say, but it's true. Most of the time, we begin to feel overwhelmed and stress and feeling as though we don't know in what direction to go when we've lost our inner sense of purpose. Why is it that I'm doing this? Where am I hoping to go? Where do I hope to be 1 year from now? Where do I hope to be 2 years from now? But more than that, I'd like you to ask yourself, how do I want to feel 1 year from now? Do I want to feel as I feel right now? Or do I want to feel more freedom, more joy? Do I want to feel more happiness? Do I want to feel like I have stronger relationships with people, with my spouse? Do I want to feel like I have accomplished or achieved something? If so, the questions that you should be asking yourself is, what do I need to do today to move me toward that? And I'm going to back up and I'm going to say, that is what the last 3 to 4 weeks have done for me. When we need to quiet down, for me, it was for recovery. But I would suggest that if you are feeling like you are in a space where you don't know what your next move is, just quiet down. Take some time, go for walks, find something else to do and say, why am I doing this? What do I ultimately want to accomplish with my life? Where do I want it to be? How do I want to feel? That will begin to give you some answers. So we're talking about resilience, and it's your ability to bounce back from challenges and obstacles. I really like this quote, and it's from an author, Jodi Picoult, and the human capacity for burden is like bamboo. We are far more flexible than we would ever believe at first glance. And we really are. We think that we will crumble when something devastating, when something upsetting, when we are not expecting something to happen. So many people believe that they will crumble. And in fact, you won't. The fact that you are listening to me right now or watching this video right now means you are stronger than you thought you were, because you have already made it through to this point in your life. So give yourself some credit. Be very proud of yourself that you have made it to this point. So why are you being so hard on yourself? You're allowed to be upset that you're not where you wanted to be. You're allowed to be upset that things didn't go the way you planned them to go. But what I ask of you is don't stay there. Don't sit in that spot feeling like a victim, because you're not. All you have to do is start making some important decisions about the direction that you want to go. And then surround yourself with people who can help you get there. Surround yourself with mentors, coaches. Seek advice, seek mentorship. Look for the answers to your questions. If your question is, but how would I do that? Start looking for the answers. If you want to dive into a new business, if you want to expand the business you're already in, just seek mentorship to get there. Look for someone who's already done it and get that advice. And yes, you will likely have to pay for it. I have enrolled in a different type of program right now from someone who is making insane amounts of money doing what I'm going to be doing, which I'm going to talk about. So don't let me lose you in this podcast, because I'm going to be telling you what's coming in my life. What we have to remember is resilience can be learned. If you feel like you are not resilient enough and you have been allowing the world to affect you and people and social media, you can learn resilience, and there are steps to do that. So why don't we go through some of those steps? I'm going to skip over some of these other things I was going to say, and I'll come back to them. But why don't we talk about some of the steps to build up your resilience? When you feel like life just isn't giving you a break, pause and do some of these things. Number one, keep a positive attitude. And you may say, oh God, Katharine, are you kidding me? I would love to have a positive attitude, but I just don't have it right now. I get that. But I also get that you can create a positive attitude in the way that you see things and your perspective in how you are viewing situations. When something happens in your life going forward, it is not what you expected. Ask yourself this: what is this here to teach me? A deal didn't go through. If you're in real estate or business, you're starting off as an entrepreneur and it's just not going the way you want it to go. Someone didn't speak to you very nicely. Someone showed you a lack of respect. Maybe at home, your home life is not going in the direction that you expected or wanted it to go. Stop and ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? Learn from the obstacles. You don't have to battle against them. Just pause and ask, what am I meant to be learning right now? Because there's a lesson in there for you. The other question you may ask yourself is, how did I get here? How have I contributed to what has happened right now? How have I contributed to this health issue, this business issue, this issue with a relationship? Because most often we have a part to play in what has happened. If it's a health issue, maybe you ignored it, and it wouldn't have become such a larger health issue if you hadn't ignored it. If it's a relationship, often I say to people, what part did you play? Did you communicate? Did you express how you feel? We can't always expect other people to do the job for us. I put a post out on TikTok today and just a little blurb of a story. And here's what I said. Stop waiting for someone to save you. You need to become the hero of your own story. Don't wait for someone to save you. There's no one coming to save you. Trust me on this. You need to save yourself, and it needs to start right now. So all of the things that you're hoping, for example, when I fill in the blank, when I do more deals, when I get this business under control, when I start this business, when I move to that beautiful island, whatever the case is, then I will be happy. That is incorrect, because the happiness starts within you. But if we go back a few notches, it actually starts with becoming resilient against obstacles, understanding our behaviors, understanding how we react and how we respond to situations, because reactions and responses, I have a podcast about that. Reactions and responses dictate how our body will perform. They also dictate how a person on the other end will respond to us. If you want to watch that podcast, it actually came up in my memories today. So I do believe that it is either May 26, 2022 or 2021. There is a podcast about how to react and how to respond. So let's go back. The steps to resilience. Number one is keeping a positive attitude, which doesn't mean that you have to put your rose-colored glasses on. It simply means you need to ask more questions. And those questions will lead you to a better attitude. And listen to good things. Listen to a really great podcast every morning. You wake up and you don't feel all that positive? Put a podcast on. Put my podcast on. Listen to some of the other episodes. Read something positive. Watch something positive. Listen to some amazing music. For me, I'm going to throw on Pitbull. I'll start dancing around and I feel great. And I just got chickens. Yes, I got 6 chickens, and these little ladies are the cutest things ever. I call it chicken therapy. So if you sit in there with them, they're just looking at you and you just get to watch what they're like. And what it does is it just brings you back to the present moment. Staying positive means that you have to live in the present moment. Most of the time, if you are feeling negative, it is because you are thinking back to something that has happened, or you are thinking back to something that you regret, you wished you had done, or you are fast forwarding a problem which you think is going to happen. That's what makes us worry. Worries are not real. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Our mind is concocting stories for us. That is what creates this fear in the future. Be in the present, and you won't feel the fear. You won't feel the overwhelm. It's just what's happening right now. And whatever you decide to do, your next step moving forward dictates what your future will now become. Number 2, embrace change. Change is wonderful. It really is. Change helps us to grow. It helps us to evolve. I have this phrase that I love to use, and it's called the evolution of you. And you cannot possibly move to the next level of the evolution of you unless you embrace change and say, you know what? It's okay. This is happening because it's meant to happen, and it's meant to make me stronger. If over the last little while, anything that's happened, you have been interpreting as bad or as problematic, or if you have found yourself saying, oh my God, just give me a break, look at it in a different way and just say, what is happening right now? And what am I meant to learn from this? Number 3, relying on your support system. So I mentioned this earlier. We carry heavy loads on us, don't we? We carry some heavy bricks on these shoulders of ours, and we don't have to. It's okay to unload. Just like your computer, you upload and you download. It's okay to download. And if you don't have someone you can download to, one, I would suggest trying to find someone. Number two, start journaling. Write it down. Look at your thoughts on paper. Go back and read them the next day. Because I'll guarantee you the next day, you won't feel quite like you did when you wrote those thoughts down. Number four, set and pursue goals. Having a purpose truly invigorates and ignites that energy in you again. You will become energized when you find that purpose again. I promise you that. Do you remember when you planned your last vacation? Do you remember researching, making reservations, looking for that great hotel with a wonderful view, looking up the restaurants? Oh, what do I feel like eating on Tuesday? What do I feel like eating on Wednesday? Oh my gosh, where can we go? What can we do? I want you to imagine every day of your life is like planning your vacation. Wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, what do I get to do today? Today, this is how my day is going to go, and I'm going to make sure it happens like that. Make reservations during your day on your life. If you spent the same amount of time that you do booking a vacation and instead creating your life by design, I can't even tell you how your life will begin to change, and your mindset and your attitude and the joy in your heart that you will feel is phenomenal. Number five, practice self-care. It's really important that you take some time for yourself. It is important to do little things that make you feel good. Are you going around with roots in your hair like mine are growing in slowly? Your nails, I don't know. If you're a man, go fishing, go for a walk, go watch sports. Whatever it is that is your feeling of self-care, you need to do it because it's what brings you back to who you are. What happens when we start to feel overwhelm and stress is it's almost like it brings us outside of our body. Like, who is this person? You fly off the handle. You feel negative all the time. You walk into your house every day and you're just complaining. Is that really who you are? Or is it because you just feel like you're in this box of stress all the time? Go treat yourself to some self-care, and maybe that just means you sit outside, close your eyes, and do nothing. Whatever that means to you, maybe it's walking by the beach with water. Just sit on the sand. Clear your mind, look out at the water. The answers will come to you when you start to slow down. And number six, and I want to tell you how important number six is for you. And it's called reflect on your past successes. We forget the brilliant human beings that we are. We forget the achievements and accomplishments that we've had over the years. So one of the ways that I help coach entrepreneurs is I bring you back and I say, I want you to make a list of everything you've accomplished since you were 12 years old. What are those things? What have you done in your life? Put them on paper, because sometimes, whether it's a criticism, maybe we just don't feel like we measure up. Maybe we don't feel like we're where we wanted to be, where we expected we would be by now. Maybe you just forgot how awesome you are. Maybe that. So what you need to do is you need to start making a list of every single thing you have accomplished in life to date. And what you're going to notice is how freaking awesome you are. Yeah. Like, you are going to realize, oh my God, I totally forgot about that thing that I did when I was 19, when I was 20. I forgot about that obstacle I got through. Like, I'm here. Look what I did. I want you to go back and remember those things because it's going to reignite your confidence in who you are. And it will also affect how you run your business as a fearless entrepreneur. So let's sum it up. Being resilient is not just about surviving challenges. It is about learning and growing and thriving under obstacles, barriers, challenges that hit us. It means that they don't keep us down. You can go down for an hour, for a day, but don't stay there. Get right back up again. You have the power to build your resilience. You are not a victim. No one's coming to save you. You know why? Because you are the hero of your story. So challenge the stories that you've created in your mind, because what's on the other side of that is freedom and joy and accomplishment. So I will be launching something extremely special. I am calling it My Life's Work. That's what I'm going to be launching in just a couple of weeks. And it is going to change people's lives. It is going to help people. And I'm super excited. So stay tuned because I'm going to let you know here first what's going to be happening, where you can go to learn more about it. And then I will put it out on all my social media platforms. So if you are as excited as I am, send me a message saying, I heard the podcast. I hear you're making a launch. Write me the word launch and question mark. And maybe I'll drop you a couple of hints. So I want you to remember you are freaking awesome and you've got this. And life happens, but I want you to embrace it because it's why we're here. We are meant to allow life to happen to us and to happen for us because there is a lesson for us to learn in everything. Until next time, my friends, this is Mindset Medicine. Bye for now.